you go through the whole process with your supplier first, right? Which a lot of the time is so draining. There's so many messages and miscommunications and everything, and you're going through all these different steps with them, and you're like, I finally got this product done. Like, it's perfect. I've put in all this hard work and money, and then you've got to come to this step and like do it all again. And it's like a whole nother level harder, because like you said, you've got all these terms you don't know about, and you're risking all this time you've just spent building this product, and you're like, can't even see it. I hope these people are taking care of it. And it's it's a very stressful time.
It is a stressful time, and it's a really complicated process, right? So I guess through all this, our discovery through 2020 was this. Our business was suffering with shipping prices through, COVID and all that sort of stuff. It was crazy. We were paying like 18, 19 grand a container compared to like 3, 4 grand. It was insane. We were borderline just shutting the shop because there was nothing left, right? A lot of our products were oversized as well, which didn't help. So I was going to China between 8 to 10 times a year prior to that, because our products, long story short, were very fragile. I would go over there every time we loaded containers. It was only like 7 hours on a plane. I'd jump on a plane, I'd fly over there, 3-4 days, watch the loading processes. We're loading like 340s, 345-foot containers. So I just wanted to make sure everything was going well, and I'd fly straight home, just making sure everything was good.
Right.
Now, through my contacts with China, sellers, I got to know people over there, not manufacturers, just sellers. I was asking them for tips, like, what are you guys doing for shipping? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? Because we're struggling.
Yep.
And I told them about our model, and they're like, we've never used a 3PL in our life. I don't know what you're talking about. We keep everything here in China, and we send small shipments into Amazon direct as we need it. Like the supermarket, you sell 2 bottles of shampoo, you replace 2 bottles of shampoo. I'm like, oh yeah, it kind of makes sense to me. And so myself and a few other sellers, close friends of ours, we started doing the numbers, and we're like, hey, we should get a warehouse in China for us. So I was going to get, the initial idea of Skewdrop was me and about 3 or 4 others. We're going to lease like a little warehouse, get some staff, and they're going to look after all our businesses. We're going to send all our stuff there from our manufacturers and drip feed it in, so we could cut out the US 3PL and not send all these massive containers. That was the initial concept, right?
Yep.
So this was our discovery. They're not these big businesses, and one of the sellers I was talking to, they were doing like in excess of 10 million a year and never sent a container to the US. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I thought it's like pack everything into a container and send it off.
Yep.
That's how you win, and it just wasn't. So our solution was, it was validated early, and we did our numbers ourselves and started testing the model, and it worked. And we thought, hang on, if it works for us, it might work for everybody else. So then we built the whole solution. And I'm going to tie this in with the ABC management inventory in a sec. And you'll see how it all makes sense. So basically our solution is you can now have a facility that you can store in China, and you can send direct to Amazon, weekly shipments, fortnightly, monthly, however it is. And it's all managed via our software, which is really cool. So in real time, you can have a look what's in your warehouse, which is super important because we've been running off spreadsheets all this time with our 3PLs that we currently have. Sometimes they don't even know where stuff is. Sending them labels, blah, 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 emails. Can you get this out? Oh, this is my shipping plan. Doing it in Seller Central, sending it over to them. It was just a nightmare, right?
Yeah, and sorry, just before,
sorry.
I just wanted to say, with this, because I always thought of this, right? I was like, that would be such a good idea to be able to do it this way, but I didn't have the idea that you had to go and buy a warehouse. But like, I thought of it in the sense like I'd asked a supplier before, right? I was like, can we keep some stock there? And if we need to, we can drip feed it in, right? And of course, at the start, you're talking to the salesperson who's like, that's fine. Yeah, let's do it, because they want to keep you good. And then like 2 weeks later, their manager says to them, like, what the heck is this? And then they're saying to you, hey, if you want to do it, you got to pay us all this money, or you've got to get rid of the stock and you got to do another shipment again. So this is like the perfect in between.
And let me say, mate, and I will be fully transparent, if you can store stuff with your supplier and it works, you do that. Yeah. I'm always about honesty, right?
Yep.
You don't send us stuff if you can store with your supplier. That's the perfect storm. Where it gets a little bit complicated, and we've got customers now who have gone from that model and are using us, is because they'll do this. One customer is a pretty big customer actually, and he lives in Panama. And he reached out to us and said, listen, I store with my suppliers, but I've had enough. I'll still store it for free, but I've had enough. I send them the labels. They email me back and say, we're so busy, I can't put the labels on your boxes for 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, I'm just jack of it.
Yeah.
So there's all these things to weigh up. Look, it's not for everybody, Skew Drop, and you know, the solution's there for whoever wants to use it. But at least it's there now. And
That's right.
sometimes people use it exclusively, and then some people use it as a hybrid approach. So it's all depending on people's businesses, right?
Yep. Yep.
But that's the cool thing. There's flexibility now for sellers. Beforehand, trying to store in a warehouse in China it is pretty much impossible with the language barrier, trust. Like, who are these guys?
Yes.
How do I know where my stuff is? Who do I email for a label? It was just crazy.
That's right.
So this is our solution now. So you can send your products to us from a manufacturing date, which can happen the next day. Once they're ready, they'll be in our warehouse. Creating the shipping plans part is now done in our software. So we integrate with Seller Central for the UK and the US marketplace. So you don't leave our platform to create a shipping plan. You just create your shipping plan in there. It comes out in about a second, talks to your account, it gives you the FBA IDs. And then once you have a look at the shipping options, whether it's regular, express, air freight, whatever you want to choose, you select on the method that you want to send. Once you confirm that, your labels are automatically sent to the factory floor on the forklifts, and they've got your order. So there's a very technology-driven efficiency, right?
Right.
So it's pretty cool. Like, you can do a weekly shipment in under 5 minutes, and you're done.
Right.
And you're done, and you shut your laptop. It's pretty cool.
Mm.
So now you're reducing risk. You can break your shipment up, and this is a really important thing. If your goods used to cost for an LCL or maybe even an FCL $3,000 or $4,000 to send to the US, we would not have a business if you broke that up over 3 months and it wasn't the same price. We just wouldn't have business.
Yeah.
Right. So we worked hard, and this was the hardest thing about Skew Drop, was trying to get our logistics partners to give us the same rate broken up, because our whole preface is breaking up shipments.
Yeah, right.
If it's going to cost you $5,000, but if you use Skew Drop and you send it in over 3 months, it's going to cost you $7,000. Then you got to look at, the finer details of 3PL. Can we beat your 3PL, and is it really worthwhile? But if it's $5,000 one time and $5,000 over 3 months, then it's like a loan.
Yes. Yeah.
Then but that's cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we did. And so now you don't have to pay for things up front. If you break it up, this is an important one, the tariffs. You can break all the shipping and tariffs up over 3 months or whatever your inventory cycle is. So it's massive on cash flow. It's massive on cash flow for families. It's massive on cash flow for people who are looking to scale. But I'll get to the really cool stuff. So me and you are going to have a race, Lockie, all right?
Okay.
So you're going to be using the Skew Drop model, and I'm going to be in my factory. Now, we've both got our goods ready.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Amazon. Now, this could be Australia or the US, right? Let's just I'm going to get to Australia. Now, your goods are ready, my goods are ready. You send yours to Skew Drop tomorrow, they're there. I'm looking for my freight forwarder. I'm hopefully got all that sorted because my inventory's finished. They organise to come and pick up the goods, and they're going to take those goods to the port. That could be anywhere from 4 to 7 days. I don't know what's happening there, and you're in the hands of the freight forwarding gods when they tell you things, because you just don't know if it's true or not. And I can tell you, from my experience in building this business, a lot of the things that are said are actually just rubbish, right?
Yes.
And if they say, oh, Lockie, they're going out Thursday. Oh, Lockie, but we've just had a bit of a hold up. They're going out Monday. All they're doing is they don't have a full container yet. They're shopping around to fill it up, and they haven't made a booking yet.
Yep.
Whereas with us, we've got over 700 brands with all inventory ready goods. We've got the luxury of having all that ready, all these plans and multiple containers going out every day. So we've got bookings every day.
Yep.
That's the difference.
Yep.
So anyway, you're going to Amazon. I'm going to a 3PL. Same shipping time, maybe longer with all the little whispers that they tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So 45 days, let's say, and that's being generous at the moment, because freight at the moment into the US is about 35 days even for regular. That's into Amazon.
Yep.
You're in with your first weekly shipment. I am getting my 4 months or 5 months worth of stock to my 3PL. In the 45 days that I took to get to my 3PL, you've put 7 weekly shipments on the water. So you've de-risked, and you've got 7 weekly shipments on the water that are checking in every week with your sales velocities. And then those costs with SKU are covered all the way into Amazon, and now you have, or I have to, have these extra costs into Amazon from 3PL. It just doesn't make sense when you look at it, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty powerful. ABC inventory. Remember we talked about Kmart, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
now with SKU Drop, you've got this ability, breaking up your SKUs into classified categories and being able to put on the water what you need, and only when you need it. And don't pay for shipping for C and B stock up front before you need to. So if you can think about a business that's got multiple SKUs, or someone like Kmart, they're not putting everything on the water until they need it. We as Amazon sellers, we think, hey, I've got to get 3 months worth of stock. And I've got to send it now. And then when it gets to my house, I'll deal with it then. All your cash is tied up. You've paid for the shipping, and if it's going to a 3PL, it's even worse, right?
Yep.
So that's really important, that SKU Drop gives you the flexibility to now send what SKUs you need when you need it. That can't happen usually. You're bulking it all up and sending it across in one order.
Yes.
Our customers, this is a big one, mate. They're reducing this. What they're doing is they're having the same amount of sales, but holding 50% less stock. Because they're ordering differently from their suppliers. They don't have to order 4 or 5 months worth of stock. They're ordering monthly with POs and sending it to us, and they've got this chain happening now, this loop. So they're not ordering, they're telling their suppliers, I'm not lowering my order, I'm just changing the frequency. I don't need to send 4 or 5 months in a hit. I just need you to manufacture 1 month's worth. I'll pay you for that. Then the next month, I'll pay you for that. And then the next month, I'll pay you for that. It's coming to our warehouse, and they're sending weekly or fortnightly shipments in this supply chain loop. And now they're receiving the same amount of sales from Amazon, but they're holding 50% of capital in their stock.
You know, it is. And like I say to people when they're starting out, as part of, the things to keep in mind, right? When you start an Amazon business is exactly that you might think like, I can get started for this amount of money and whatever, but I always said you need to keep in mind, if you're needing to order for months in advance, you don't run out of stock and blah, blah, blah. But like you said, that ties up so much extra money for people, whereas this allows you to then put that money into whatever, right? Expanding, scaling. So it just makes it such a big change for people to, grow that starting business so much quicker.
One of our customers had to hold 500K worth of stock. Now they're holding 250K stock.
Yeah, that's wild.
Using their service. So they've actually unlocked 250K in their business, which is massive.
Yeah.
Our customers are seeing 30% supply chain reductions, which is massive. This is probably a first in the industry, and it's only because of the luxury of having everything under the one roof. As I said, we've got a 24-hour pick, label, load guarantee. So we've got order pickers like this that you can see in the image, where they allow our staff to go up with pallets safely and pick, your weekly shipment, not the whole pallet, onto pallets and get them out. So they go up, grab 5 boxes, come down, label them with your FBA IDs. Labels, and bang, they're in the container. So whenever you create a shipping plan in our software, you've got a 24-hour pick, label, and load guarantee, which is not done in the industry, but we can do it because everyone's gear is ready in the warehouse. That's pretty unique.
Yeah.
I won't go over this slide, but people can pause this and have a look, because these are some of the rates that people are paying for 3PL, even in Australia as well. It's very similar.
Yep.
You can see our simplified rates, and we also have 0 receiving fees. So that's massive. So if you send us 1 carton or 10 containers, it's 0 to receive it, palletize it, put it away, and they get put away. They get put away with barcoded pallets and barcoded geolocation in their warehouses, in the racking. So it's a pretty sophisticated system. We know where your goods are at any one point in time. It's all technology driven. Daily storage rates are cheaper than Amazon, cheaper than a lot of 3PLs. And we've also got customizable rates for bigger sellers, but we can talk about that another time, or you can check out our website.
Yeah.
This is a big one and a big change for us. So people that are doing Walmart, Shopify, TikTok, anyone that's doing that, like, we have got the automation in the software for Amazon, right? But people want to use our warehouse, but they sell on Walmart, Amazon, and Shopify, or they've got their own e-com stores. They might have a service like a 3PL in the States or in Australia where they're doing D2C. So, direct to customer. So they need some goods in these warehouses for their Shopify stores and e-com stores where they're doing one product deliveries, right?
Yeah.
So we do that. You can just hit the tab, the chat bot tab, which is not a bot, it's actually our staff and it's us. You can hit that and say, hey, you've got 100 of my cartons, but I need 20 to go to this address in Australia or this address in America because they fulfill my Walmart or TikTok orders.
Yep.
So you can still drip feed into those systems, which has still got the same theory of, not having to send everything up front.
Yeah.
Don't know we do that, and we do that now day to day, where they'll message us and say, "Hey," and we also have the ability for people to use their own freight forwarders. So if you want to use yours, or you want to use ours, they'll say, "Hey, listen, I've got my own freight forwarder. I need these 20 carts to go to XYZ for my TikTok orders." And we always say, "Do you want us to give you a quote as well?" And they'll go, "Yeah, sure." And we'll give them a quote. It'll come back in 24 hours, and they'll either take our quote or their quote. A lot of the times they're using us because it's cheaper and it's done like instantly with the team. So these are all things that we do. We can distribute inventory to any location at the moment. That's cool.
Yeah.
The big one for this channel, SKU Drop to Australia. So at the moment, we're working on bringing that into the software. It probably will happen this year at some point, but we currently have sellers who are selling in Australia that are storing with us.
Yes.
Same process. It's a little bit more manual, only meaning that it's hitting the chat in your account saying, "Hey, can you please prepare 50 cartons to go to Amazon Australia?" You'll have to create your shipping plan, give them to us, or if you want them to go to a 3PL or your own house, drip fed. However, we still facilitate it. So you can still take advantages of the system. It's just not that 2-second process where it's done.
No, and I can personally vouch. I assume there's some of your reps. When I went to the event in Sydney, there was a SKU Drop stand that was there at the event. They've got all the different stands. There were 2 guys there who I believe are some of your staff that interact with people. And they were super lovely, super helpful. So the customer service and the people that, help you organize that stuff are super helpful, no matter what your level is with it.
Yeah, so the 2 guys at the stand are actually co-founders. So
Really? Oh, there you go.
They're right in the weeds, man. They do all that, and they do the support and all sorts of stuff. We all get involved. So at the moment, we're just scaling out our team. But yeah, it's always good for co-founders, and that's a whole other topic, to get involved in the weeds of the business.
Absolutely.
So they're very, astute businessmen and got a lot of experiences, and they love being on the floor like that just to learn about the business, which is another point.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So if anyone wants to utilize our services, they can. We can ship here. You can use your own freight forwarders. We can give you quotes. We're doing it now for a lot of our customers. Just to tie it off, we've just yesterday completed. It was actually yesterday. Before yesterday, this slide was 9,000 Lockie, but we've just had 10,000 shipping plans, which is pretty crazy for a year. So we know a thing or two about creating shipping plans and getting goods into Amazon. It was a pretty big achievement for us yesterday to hit for Chinese New Year 10,000 shipping plans.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's me in our warehouse in China. We've now got 650,000 units stored in the warehouse, which is pretty cool, and that's growing every day. But it's just a bit of validity there that this thing's real and people are actually got the hunger for storing in China. Over 700 brands, it's closer to 800 now, are using the business, so it's quite significant. We built this thing to be able to scale and handle that from a warehouse storage perspective and software and technology perspective. If anyone wants any resources, we've got a YouTube channel just with little short explainers. So if they've got questions, I'm sure they'll ask you, Lockie, at some point, or you can get in contact with me.
We'll get back to talking to Jamie in just 1 second, but for those of you who want to check out SKU Drop and get to see how you can use it within your Amazon business, and you're going to learn a bit more about it in just a sec, but they've made an amazing offer for our Australian audience here today, because a lot of the guys running this company are Australians as well. Okay, so they've actually given you guys a full 12-month subscription for free to their software. Okay, so for a whole year, you can go in, check it out, see how it's going to best work for your product, for your supplier location, and where you need to send your stock, either here to Australia, or if you want to test out America, They're going to let you use the software for free for an entire year. And then on top of that, they're going to give you for 6 months 20% off all of your carton preparation fees. So when they're handling your stock, packing it up, whatever it is you needed, they're going to give you 20% off any of those normal fees that they charge the rest of their customers. And then if that wasn't already enough, they're going to give you $100 shipping credit. Okay, that's right, $100 that you can use towards any of your shipments that you put through SKU-Drop. Okay, so a full year subscription for free. You get 20% off all of your handling fees for 6 months. And it's like a gift card, $100 USD gift card to use towards any of your shipments. So if you guys want to go and give it a trial, check out the software. I've got the link down below that you can click, go through and get the reward for being part of this amazing Australian audience. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again soon. Peace.